Hi everyone, I'm Senator Sharon Hewitt. It's Monday, May 20th, and this is the Capitol Report. So the last couple of weeks have been very busy. I'll try to update you today on the status of the tort reform and insurance work that we've been doing, my sexual harassment settlement bill, the work on the budget, and a few of the activities that happened last week and this week looking ahead. So let me first start with an update on the tort insurance reform work. As you know, in Louisiana, we have the second highest car insurance rates in the country. And so there has been an effort or an interest in the last couple of years in passing legislation that might help address that. I began part of that effort last year with my seatbelt gag bill that would allow a judge to decide if it's relevant and if a jury should be told that you were not wearing your seatbelt. Currently in Louisiana law, the jury's prevented from knowing that information. That bill died in Juday last year. I brought the bill back again this year, and after hearing the bill the first time and losing a quorum, then I came back the next week and the committee voted the bill down. Representative Talbot brought an Omnibus Premium Reduction Act bill that does a number of things that many people in the industry believe, again, would help reduce jury awards and reduce your car insurance premiums. That bill also met the same fate in the Senate Judiciary Aid Committee. And so I want you to know that there are a number of us who are fighting to help reduce your car insurance rates. We're just not able to get the bills through the Senate Judiciary Aid Committee, even though they have enjoyed wide support in the House. I'm also working on sexual harassment. As you recall, last year I worked on legislation that established a framework and a policy in our state relative to sexual harassment. You know, we know that we spent $10.4 million over the last 10 years settling 83 sexual harassment cases, and that over 300 cases have been reported in the last 5 years. So my action this year was to draft a bill that would hold the sexual harasser accountable financially for his or her actions. And that bill has been well received. We're working on a framework to establish the process within the Attorney General's office to give it some teeth so that victims who report sexual harassment know that they can report it without fear of retribution, and that the cases will be fairly investigated and that action will be taken, and the harasser, if guilty, will be held liable to some extent financially for their actions. I've also continued to work on statutory dedications to eliminate, as you know, the idea that certain funds, over 400 of them, get their money right off the top rather than having to compete with funding like everyone else. This is becoming a growing problem in our budget. Between statutory dedications and fees, we have about $8.7 billion dedicated. We have about $9.7 billion of state general fund dollars. And so collectively, it's about 50-50. And we don't spend enough time in the legislature really scrutinizing those funds. And so Representative Edmonds and I have been working together to eliminate many of those funds. That bill was relatively controversial last year. It's not as controversial this year. And so I think that's good policy. Finance Committee is spending a lot of time right now on the budget. It's a $32 billion budget. The state's share of that continues to go up. It's the largest budget in the state's history. We have been working hard to scrub the budget so that we could find ways to fund what I believe are high priorities and groups that really need our help, like CASA, so they can deliver food, hot meals to homebound senior citizens, help for at-risk foster kids, some additional funding for the disabled, and of course invest in education. The teacher pay raises have been a big topic of conversation this year. As you know, the governor proposed that teachers get a $1,000 pay raise this year and support workers $500. The House actually upped the ante to $1,200 and $600. And even though we know that that still doesn't bring us up to the Southern average, we think that it moves us a step in the right direction. But the big topic of debate appears to be the $39 million that the governor included in the budget to go directly to the school districts. And although the school districts haven't gotten any additional increase in funding over the last half a dozen years or so, they are funded on a dollar per pupil basis at a level that is pretty competitive with the other southern states. So a lot of the discussion within the legislature right now has to do with, should that $39 million actually go to the districts, or should we maybe use some of that money to increase teacher pay, as the House has done, to $1,200 and $600 respectively? Or perhaps we should spend it on some of the other things that I mentioned earlier. There's also a great desire to fund early education so that those children ages birth to 4 that are from underprivileged homes have an opportunity to arrive and start kindergarten with the social skills and the basic learning skills, ready to compete with their peers. And although there is some funding in the budget, most people don't believe that it's enough. So we'll continue to work on that. We've heard testimony from all the agencies. We'll have public testimony on Friday. So if you're in the area, or if you have an opinion about the funding for anything that you're especially interested in, come to the Capitol and let us hear your input. I had a little fun last week in that I was invited to meet President Trump when he descended Air Force One on the tarmac at the New Orleans airport. And so that was quite an experience, one that I'll never forget, and appreciate really the honor and the privilege to meet the most powerful man in the world. He was very kind and very easy to talk to, and so it was quite the honor. This week we have a couple of exciting activities happening. Tomorrow the robotics kids will all be here. It'll be the 3rd annual Festival de Robotique that I've hosted. It showcases students of all ages from all around the state. I think we have 27 teams competing tomorrow in robotics activities. And what I love about robotics programs is that not only are the students learning lots of different technical skills, but they're learning soft skills, and it simulates a very real-world application. And so I believe the students are learning so much that they have no idea that they're really learning. I started a robotics team at our children's high school in 2006, and it's always been something very important to me and very special to me. And so I look forward to continuing to support the robotics kids. This week we'll also honor the military families who have lost a loved one this last year. And that's one of the most solemn occasions in the state capitol, and one that we always look forward to being able to honor our heroes. It's been a busy week. Next week promises to be even busier. We have a little over 2 weeks left. So if you want to keep up with me, feel free to go to SharonHewitt.com and subscribe to my updates, and follow the links to follow me on social media. Appreciate all of your input. Thank you for keeping me in your prayers. God bless.